Deep within the bowels of an abandoned research facility, Dr. Jonathan Hartman toiled away in the dimly lit laboratory. Obsessed with unraveling the mysteries of the human form, he embarked on a deranged experiment, transforming innocent subjects into grotesque abominations. Unbeknownst to him, the line between scientific curiosity and monstrous obsession had long been crossed. As the screams of the tormented echoed through the sterile halls, fear and regret gnawed at Dr. Hartman's sanity. The once human subjects, now twisted and disfigured, broke free from their restraints, their tortured bodies a grotesque testament to the doctor's depravity. Limbs elongated, eyes bulged, and mouths distorted into hideous maws filled with razor-sharp teeth. The unleashed horrors hungered for revenge, their mutilated forms oozing with a toxic combination of rage and agony. Desperate to escape the nightmare he had unleashed, Dr. Hartman stumbled through the lab, his trembling hands fumbling for an exit. But the doors, once his fortress of scientific ambition, now stood as impassable barriers, sealing his fate within the very place he had transformed into a chamber of horrors. With every step, the twisted creatures drew closer, their guttural growls piercing the doctor's ears, driving him deeper into madness. In the final moments of his life, Dr. Hartman realized the consequences of his dark experimentation. He had become a monster himself, a mad scientist trapped in a nightmare of his own making. The grotesque horrors he had birthed tore him apart, limb by limb, until all that remained was a chilling testament to the twisted legacy of a man who dared to play God. As the broken bodies of the doctor and his creations lay scattered across the lab, an eerie silence descended upon the forsaken facility. The dark secrets it held would forever haunt the nightmares of those unfortunate enough to stumble upon its forgotten halls, a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk when science succumbs to madness. The abandoned research facility, now a breeding ground for unspeakable horrors, had become a tomb of lost souls. However, the monstrous creations born from Dr. Hartman's twisted experiments hungered for more than just vengeance. They sought to spread their macabre existence beyond the confines of the lab, to unleash their torment upon the unsuspecting world. With the laboratory doors breached, the abominations spilled into the moonlit night, their monstrous forms casting eerie shadows against the dilapidated walls. A chorus of distorted cries echoed through the air, a symphony of terror that sent shivers down the spines of those unfortunate enough to bear witness to their grotesque transformation. As the abominations roamed the streets, chaos ensued. Panic gripped the town as the once normal citizens encountered the twisted monstrosities. Innocent lives were snuffed out, consumed by the ravenous appetite of these hellish creatures. The town, once a haven of tranquility, now descended into a nightmarish realm where screams filled the air and blood stained the cobblestones. The authorities, ill-prepared for the onslaught of abominations, struggled to contain the terror that had been unleashed. The futile attempts to eradicate the creatures only served to escalate the violence, their resilience and sheer numbers overwhelming the forces pitted against them. In the aftermath of this horrific rampage, the abandoned research facility stood as a grim reminder of the consequences of scientific hubris. The legacy of Dr. Hartman's twisted experiments now tainted the very fabric of existence, forever etching the town and its inhabitants into the annals of supernatural horror. And as the sun rose over the ravaged landscape, the survivors huddled in fear, haunted by the grotesque nightmares that had been brought to life. They were left to ponder the fine line between scientific curiosity and the abyss of madness.